If you spend any amount of time studying old settlements, abandoned homesteads, or the remnants of early agricultural communities, one detail becomes impossible to ignore. The most fertile soil, the dark, sweet-smelling, crumbly stuff that still supports life centuries later, always traces back to one forgotten ingredient. Not compost, not manure, not ash. It's something modern households toss into the trash without a second thought. Yet early farmers, medieval villagers, frontier homesteaders, and even Victorian gardeners considered it a treasure. They guarded it, stockpiled it, and built their soil around it. That ingredient is simple kitchen waste, but not the usual kind. It's the fibrous, carbon-rich, mineral-dense remains of foods we strip away, cut off, peel or discard. Potato skins, onion peels, corn cobs, eggshell membranes, tough stalk ends, even the papery outer layers of garlic and leeks. Stuff that most people sweep off the board and dump. And yet these scraps, when handled correctly, outperform bagged compost and expensive soil amendments, building structure and fertility the way old farmers used to. Slowly, steadily, and permanently. This is the part of the video where many viewers expect the conversation to shift towards store-bought solutions, but the truth is far more interesting. Everything ancient farmers did to keep their soil alive revolved around capturing organic matter before it left the household. They didn't throw anything away because they couldn't afford to. They also understood what we've forgotten. Soil is built, not bought. The reason this throwaway material works better than modern compost comes down to how soil actually forms. When soil scientists study the deepest, richest layers of earth, they always find the same thing: decomposed plant fibers layered with minerals. Those layers don't come from big, fluffy compost piles. They come from slow, direct breakdown right in the soil horizon. Medieval gardeners didn't run compost bins. Many frontier families didn't either. Instead, they practiced trench composting and sheet layering, burying their peelings directly into the ground, where microbes, worms and fungi transformed those scraps into stable humus. Humus isn't compost. It's the long-lasting organic matter that stays in the soil for decades, improving water retention, drainage, aeration, and nutrient release. When you bury kitchen scraps, especially the tough fibrous ones most people throw away, you are feeding that humus layer. The result isn't a temporary fertility boost, but a permanent improvement to your soil's physical structure. This forgotten method works because buried scraps create microhabitats for soil life. If you've ever examined an archaeological dig site, you'll notice the darkened lines that mark old waste trenches or food disposal pits. Those strips are biologically active even a century later, because buried organics create pockets of moisture, warmth, and slow-breaking nutrients. Worms migrate through them. Mycorrhizal fungi colonize them. Bacteria build networks around them. What you're really doing when you bury kitchen scraps is, well, constructing micro-infrastructure for soil organisms. Those organisms, in turn, rebuild the soil for you. This is the same principle behind indigenous Three Sisters mounds in North America, where villagers buried fish remains and plant waste beneath maize hills. It is also the principle behind European midden piles, where discarded food created fertility that lasted for centuries. And it's the principle behind the incredible long-term productivity of ancient Amazonian terra preta soils. None of those civilizations used commercial fertilizer. They used what you throw away. You can apply this practice at home with methods that require almost no tools or experience. The simplest method is trench integration. Just dig a narrow slit in your garden about a spade deep, fill it with the day's kitchen waste, and cover it again with soil. After a few weeks, that strip becomes a moist, nutrient-rich channel beneath your plants. A gardener with poor clay soil might repeat this slowly, building fertility row by row over a season. Someone with sandy soil can use the same technique to increase moisture retention. Another reliable method is perimeter banks. Early homesteaders around Europe and North America often dug shallow border trenches around their gardens, dumping peelings and stalk ends all season long. By the following year, those borders became soft, rich, earthworm-laden banked soil. You can do the same along fence lines or bed edges. Even container gardeners can use small-scale layering. Place a thin layer of fibrous scraps at the bottom of large pots beneath the soil. As they break down, they create a reservoir of moisture and slow nutrients right where roots eventually grow. The real power of this throwaway material comes from its mineral content. Onion skins hold quercetin and sulfur. Potato peels carry potassium. Corn cobs offer lignin that fungi adore. Papery garlic skins contain trace minerals and antifungal compounds. Eggshell membranes provide calcium and organic protein. These are things commercial compost rarely delivers in full concentration because most compost systems heat up and gas off minerals during the process. So, when you bury scraps directly, you're actually keeping all those precious micronutrients right there in the soil where plant roots can slowly soak them up. And, over time, this practice builds what old farmers used to call living earth, that wonderful kind of soil that feels really springy under your boots and carries that rich, earthy scent, just like a forest floor. This method gives you soil that stays fertile for the next generation. Long-lasting fertility is what separates traditional soil building from modern quick fixes. When archaeologists uncover old garden plots, they still find the chemical signatures of buried organics. That is how durable this practice is. If you begin now, even with small amounts of kitchen scraps every week, you are laying down a foundation that will outlive your current planting season. Your soil becomes a living archive of every peel, skin, shell, and stalk you return to it. And the best part is that it costs nothing. The most valuable soil-building ingredient is already in your home, and most people toss it away without realizing that ancient farmers would have treated it as gold. If you want more historic gardening insights, survival-grade soil wisdom, and forgotten methods that still outperform modern shortcuts, make sure you subscribe to Hydro Haven. Share this guide with someone who wants to build real soil, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.